What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Red Ranch. Today we got a coffee table build. We're going to be building it out of Indian rosewood. This is not the stuff that I cut in my previous video. This stuff has already been kiln dried. A customer came by the shop yesterday and picked this slab out of the container, and this is the one she chose. It's got some really beautiful figuring. So first step is you got to flatten it both sides, because through the drying process it tends to twist or warp or shrink and everything. So there's different variations. I already did a skim coat over the top, and as you can see there's still saw lines showing, so you got to get all those out of there, and then flip it over and do the back side of it, and it's a dusty mess, but that's the way to do it without a big planer, doing it by hand. Got the router with a carbide spillboard bit on it, flattening bit, and that really removes material really good. I've done it with the cheaper bits from eBay, and they don't last but maybe one cut. They get dull really quickly, and there's no way of changing them out or sharpening them, so it's easier just to get a spillboard bit like that with 4 carbide blades that you can switch and rotate every time they get dull. But I got my flattening jig set up. I just got a piece of plywood and some 2-inch boards screwed in, and a router sled set up, and you just pretty much work the router back and forth while moving the carriage there as you go, working it back and forth, and that'll take material off to flatten it. Alright, I ran both sides through, got both of them flat, and these router lines, you'll see these router lines after you get done, and these are nothing but a 32nd of an inch, 16th of an inch above the surface, so these will sand out very easily. But it's just some beautiful stuff that just got revealed. The grain, you can just see how tightly woven it is, and the figuring in this area here. And there were some sister slabs on the back side of this that I have that are they have a crotch section in them, and there's a branch section that comes onto the next one. It comes just like that way, and then this trunk of the tree, the main trunk, kept going. But this one's a nice wide with a nice wide slab. I believe it's 4.5 to 5 feet long, 20 inches wide, the widest point, and I believe 14 inches wide from the smallest point down here. So it'll make a really nice coffee table. Now the next step is to get the bark off the sides. I like to set it up inside of a vise with some plastic jaws so it doesn't mar the wood, and I peel all the bark off. If it doesn't come off easily like this side, just stripped right off in one shot. But if you look at the other side here, there's some pieces of the bark that actually grow into the corners like that, and this is a little more challenging to get the bark off. It doesn't come off in one piece. It's kind of locked inside of that corner there, so you really have to take a chisel and get behind the bark, behind the cracks there, and pop it out and just work it off, and do a light sand on the outside just to bring the sapwood here to life. And then that's all the work you really got to do to the sides. I'll show you how I do that right now. Alright, and this is how it looks like after you hit it with the wire wheel. It's in a rough form right now, and I sanded it a little bit to show you kind of what it will look like. Nice and smooth and sleek, just like that. So that's what we're going to do through the whole curvatures of this side and then the other side as well. And I'll sand it up to 220, and then the sides will be finished. And it's easy just to put a routed edge on this while it's up inside the vise, so I don't have to hold it, or I'm not flipping it over on the table and everything. So I'll run my I'll run my router along the sides and get my rounded over edge on both sides here. And after that, we can start sanding it down. We'll see how she looks in a minute. Alright, I just sanded it down with some 80 grit. I rounded off the corners here so they're not so sharp and jagged. Got my nice routed edge on both ends. Nice and rounded. Sides are 220. I got my stamp on there, and now we can start working up the grits on the top. And this is going to be a beautiful reveal here. Once we get her sanded up, I use the angle grinder with one of these discs. Velcro discs I can put different grits on. I only go up to about 150 with that, and then I use an orbital for 220 and up to 320 is what we're going to go to. And I got some Rubio monocoat that I'm going to be putting on the top of it. It's going to look really good. I'm going to start sanding again. Alright, I got it sanded up to 220, and you can just see how beautiful this stuff is. And now it's time to raise the grain with some mineral spirits. Woo! Probably a little overkill there, but look at this stuff. It just comes to life. Comes to life with that. So we'll raise the grain, and then we can sand it up to 320, and that'll be the final sand grit. And after that we can wipe it down again with some more mineral spirits and then apply the finish. It's beautiful. Lots of figuring, and some really cool patterns right in here. There's a little bit of feathering in the grain, some quilting right in here. That's going to be a beautiful table. Alright, the time has come. It's the best part of the video, applying the finish. And we're going to be using Rubio Monocoat. There's been many YouTubers use this stuff, and there's a million videos on how to apply this stuff, but I'll just explain it really quick. It's an oil and wax finish. It's a hardwood floor wax finish, and it's very easy to apply. You can apply it without the accelerator, and it'll cure in like a month or so, or you can apply it with the accelerator and it'll cure in about 3 to 7 days. It's a 2-part system, so 3 parts of Rubio to 1 part of the accelerator, and I have some measuring spoons here, you know, so we'll go just 1. Alright, now that you got your material mixed up, your Rubio mixed up, I like to take a rag, shop rag, and just rip a section off of it and fold it up into a nice little application pad, something like that. And you just dip it and you rub it right on. And this stuff goes a long ways. And you basically wipe it on and then wait 5 to 10 minutes and buff it off. Simple as that. Alright, once you apply the finish and you let it soak in for about 5 to 10 minutes, then you come back through and you just buff it right off. And the trick to it is you actually want to keep buffing like you're taking it off. You don't want anything left. You don't want any residual left, because it'll turn gummy and it'll harden up and it will actually be seen on a finished product. So I like to just do a quick skim coat first and then come back with a fresh rag and then really just sit and work it in sections and just buff it out. That way you get every little bit. Just like that, and then I'm going to grab a new rag and come back through and really buff it. Alright everybody, this is the finished product here. You can just see how beautiful that rosewood is. Nice matte sheen. The grains are just coming alive with that finish. Turns out amazing. Rubio is one of my favorite finishes, but there's also satin and gloss finish you could apply, a million other woodworking finishes. Rubio is by far the simplest, most beautiful finish, and it's very durable as well. As long as you take proper care of your fine furniture, you can still feel the grain with this finish too, so it's not like it's encasing it in a shell where you still can't feel the actual wood grain, and it just soaks in there, cures, and it just turns out stunning. And unfortunately I don't have the legs with me. The customer has some custom legs that she's getting made for this table. So I was just building the top. Turned out really nice. Only took a couple of hours, 3 or 4 hours in total, from start to finish, from rough sawn to flattening it, sanding it, applying the finish. See, there's still the natural edge and everything right on there. Really nice and smooth, sleek, nice and flat. I'm sure she's going to be really happy with it. Alright, well, this is the end of this video. I appreciate everybody watching. And if you like what you see, or if you'd want to get a slab like this of your own, shoot me an email. I'll link that in the description. And please like and subscribe and let me know what you think. Enjoy.